The Sumerians may not have come from somewhere else, they could have been indigenous. The view is that the Neolithic Ubaid culture, which arose in southern Mesopotamia, developed into Sumerian civilization. Because the Sumerian language is utterly different from the surrounding Semitic and Indo-European language families, some argue that the Sumerians migrated in from a third location. Southern Mesopotamia was a vast wetland flooded by rivers, and surrounding nomadic or mountain tribes would have found it difficult to access. Even if they did enter, their numbers would have been limited. Any small groups that did filter in would have been assimilated into Ubaid culture and language because of Ubaid's overwhelming agricultural productivity and urban scale, eventually adopting their language. While the Ubaid people may have mixed in surrounding languages in everyday life for the sake of trade, in the realms of religion, administration, and scholarship, they held to their own script and language as the standard. Let's look at the traces suggesting that the Ubaid language continued in isolation as Sumerian. A significant number of basic Sumerian words related to agriculture, pottery, and metalworking do not follow Sumerian's distinctive grammatical structure. Scholars regard these as vocabulary inherited from Ubaid. The Tigris and Euphrates, where Sumerian civilization was born, as well as the names of ancient cities like Eridu and Uar, are presumed to come from a pre-Sumerian language, Ubaid. This suggests that Sumerian civilization was built upon the foundations of the Ubaid people. When the Semites took the throne around 2350 BCE, Akkadian became the dominant language in Mesopotamia. Although Akkadian is a Semitic language, it was influenced by Sumerian and came to have unique word order and grammatical structures distinct from other Semitic languages such as Arabic. By the time of Hammurabi, after 2000 BCE, almost no Sumerian speakers remained. Words derived from Sumerian survived like fossils within Babylonian and Assyrian, still in use. Between roughly 6100 and 5100 BCE, the Halaf culture existed in northern Mesopotamia. In the south, the Ubaid culture continued from approximately 6500 to 3800 BCE. The Ubaid culture, which arose in the lower reaches of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers in southern Mesopotamia, expanded its power on the basis of agricultural productivity. They moved into northern regions in search of metals, stone, and timber. One area in which Ubaid overwhelmed Halaf was pottery production. Halaf pottery was highly ornate and artistic, but it took a long time to make and required skilled craftsmanship. Ubaid pottery, by contrast, was simple and could be mass-produced using the wheel. The Halaf culture gradually adopted the practical and easily obtainable Ubaid pottery. This is a case of efficiency in the production system reshaping a culture. The two cultures also differed in housing form. The Ubaid tripartite house, organized around a large rectangular central hall with rooms arranged around it, could accommodate many people and was easy to manage. In Halaf culture, traditional circular houses gradually disappeared, and the Ubaid-style house became the standard. In the end, Halaf was absorbed into Ubaid culture. The early temples of Mesopotamia share the same form as these houses. This later led to the ziggurats built by the Sumerians. Around 5400 BCE, during the Ubaid period, a city called Eridu was built. Eridu is called the first city in Sumerian mythology, and archaeologically it is indeed one of the earliest urban settlements. That said, it was closer to a large village centered on a temple than to a city as we imagine one. At the ruins of major Sumerian cities like Eridu and Uruk, traces of dwellings and temple sites are stacked layer upon layer. They filled in over existing structures with earth to flatten the ground, then built another temple on top. This pattern of constructing buildings and then burying them looks similar to Göbekli Tepe. The difference is that Göbekli Tepe's temples were made of heavy stone, whereas in the south, where stone was scarce, they were built with bricks made from baked clay. The Halaf culture, which arose in northern Mesopotamia earlier than the southern Ubaid, had distinctive circular houses that bear a formal resemblance to the round structures of Göbekli Tepe. The intricate animal motifs that appear on Halaf pottery are sometimes interpreted as transformed versions of the wild animals carved on the stone pillars of Göbekli Tepe, adapted to settled life. And of course, layered temples are also found in the Halaf region. When the process of stacking buildings is repeated over thousands of years, the platform naturally grows higher. The temples built atop these platforms eventually led to the ziggurats of Sumerian civilization. This is the process by which a temple, originally a simple religious facility, came to symbolize the power and economic strength of the state. It is also the development from culture to civilization. Uruk grew into a center around 4000 BCE, and between 3500 and 3100 BCE it developed into a city in the true sense. At this time, the population of Uruk reached 40,000 to 50,000, and social classes, administrative systems, and cuneiform writing emerged. In the late Ubaid period, simple pottery began to be produced using the wheel, and during the Uruk period, faster wheels were used to establish full-scale mass production. This shows the process by which the emergence of a great city, with its rapidly growing population, led to the production of practical goods to meet demand. The elements that satisfy the definition of civilization in human history were all completed at once at this moment. This is, in every sense, the beginning of Sumerian civilization.